These can lights have been in my kitchen now for, approaching 20 years, and the white has lost its luster. It's now a slightly off-white slash old white, and the bulbs like to blow often. So I'm just gonna go ahead and switch them out, update to something modern like an LED canless recessed lights, one of those guys. So hey, let's get right to it. That's why you're here, right? Before I do anything else, I had to make sure I have replacements, and some measurements. I thought it was a 6, but it's not. It's actually a 7-inch. So I got these Elarus Lux, I hope I pronounced that right, 7-inch resets. They come with basically everything you need. A pack of thumb screws and these cool little clip-on, which you're going to see me use here in the show. So got everything ready to go. So let's start taking things apart. We'll start by removing the cans. They're pretty easy. Just pull straight down because it's inside of a can. So yeah. Let's get close, shall we? I'm doing a voiceover because the original audio had a lot of banging sounds from me knocking that little cone looking thingy around on the metal, so it sounded really disgusting. Anyway, so inside of these guys, they're usually dangling off of some kind of a wire gizmo-y thing. Makes it swing free, so that's kind of what I'm pointing at right now. And the wires for the bulb themselves come across either directly from the top or off to the side like they are on this one. And the whole thing is held together by usually some swinging tension spring type like this. I did manage to get it off with just one hand. It's just squeeze it in just like you saw me do here, and squeeze in the other one, and it releases the whole part of it down. Now it's still being held on by some wires. No biggie, I'm going to show you how to get that off here in a second. But inside these cans, they're usually held up by either a thumb screw or an actual little bolt that holds the can up against the ceiling, and there's a piece behind it that's holding up. You'll see that here in a bit, but that's usually all there is to this. Now that the bulb is out, it's just to release it from the cone and just squeeze those 2 springs, and that's all it is. And it falls apart. So far, no tools required other than my knife, and so we're looking pretty good. Now we just have to unscrew the thumb screws up here, and that shouldn't be too hard. Yep, that's pretty easy coming out on this one. There's likely a washer behind it. Yep, there is. I can see a washer. So let's go ahead and take this out and see what happens next. I can also tell just by looking at that, this is being held together by the classic paint glue. And by paint glue, I mean it's being held together right now by paint. Because after 20 years, I've painted the ceiling at least once or twice, maybe more. And that paint accumulates and it becomes, well, a bit of an adhesive. So grab yourself an Exacto knife, or if you have one of these nice sharp knives in your kitchen. Yeah, my wife buys these ridiculously sharp knives. They're basically razor blades. So yeah, I'm using one of those, don't tell her. And just like that, it voluntarily comes loose. Look at that, what a lovely can. At this point, the camera is too high, so I had to switch to another video where I recorded where the camera is lower so you could see what I was doing. So it's gonna pick up at the next video right there. So what am I doing now is I'm unloosening those thumb screws to take the can out. And once the can comes out, if I stop dropping screws, which I just kept dropping the screws, thankfully, in here by my lonesome, so it's fine. And if I haven't already said this, the power and the breaker is off and the light switched off. I mean, that doesn't really matter at this point, but the breaker power is off, more important than anything else. Now, so far, I've only used a knife. That's my whole tool so far. And now I'm about to add one more tool to the list, my trusty flat tip. I suppose I could have gotten a little ratchet thingy, but yeah, it's a bit much, and I can just stick this on my my ladder. So yeah, so far 1 knife and 1 flat tip screwdriver is all I'm using to take this apart. Once the screw comes out, it's just a matter of just removing that little panel, and it gives you a clean look. Now, as you can clearly see, that the person who installed this before just ran the wire through and didn't put those little plugs in there to protect the wire. And right away I saw that little line on the neutral wire, which meant it was leaning and it got cut over the years. That's the reason why you put those plugs in. I'm glad this got recorded, and I saw that. I was like, yeah, I'm so happy that got recorded so I could show the world what happens when you take shortcuts and don't do things right. There's a perfect example. This was in my house. This could have caused a fire, and you know, yeah, that's not a good day. It's probably why the bulbs kept blowing, you know, probably shorting out already and I don't even know it. So yeah, whenever you put these things in, you're supposed to put a plug in that hole that will prevent the wire from rubbing raw against the metal. Anyway, back to the business. As you see me taking these wires out, if you notice I'm just kind of holding it gingerly, that's because it's a practice of mine. Even though the power is off, I try not to touch the raw wires. It's just a safety practice. Someone told me years ago and I never forgot. I'm like, you know what, that's a good practice. So yes, I know the power is off. I flip the switch myself. I know there's no power, but I still don't touch raw wires if I 100% don't have to. You know, yeah, sometimes you're in a spot you can't help it, but watch what I'm doing here. I just slide one out, slide the other one out, and then third one out. That's it. Nothing fancy. Just be safe. I know the power is off again, but it's just my thing. I never touch raw wires if I don't have to. So, and that's a good rule of thumb, I think. I've never, ever gotten shocked, ever, just following those basic rules. Now, I need to get a close look at this little line. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm trying to get my camera to zoom in to cooperate with me here. Come on. All right, there it goes. Yeah, clean. Yep, that's a line. That's a line. Wow. I genuinely keep forgetting that I'm trying to do a YouTube channel over here, and I forgot to record the part where I used my knife and I cut the tip of the Romex cable, which is that power cable, and peeled it back. So I stopped. So that's as far as I got. That's what you didn't see. I peeled it back. So the knife is pretty sharp. Instead of using the Exacto, like I said, that knife is a razor sharp. So, you know, get yourself an Exacto knife, or if you have a silly sharp knife. So I just split it down. It's like I'm showing it my finger here. I slid it down and I peeled it back. And I'm just trying to get to the point where that cut is, and it's pretty severe. Look at it. I mean, that's bare metal. So I'm glad this happened. I'm glad I'm updated now. This is no longer an upgrade. This is basically a safety repair. So my third tool now is my wire cutter stripper. Yes, it's ancient like me. I've had it for a while. So yes, I have a new one too, but hey, the old one still works. So what I'm doing, I'm just cutting the wires away from the nick point, and since I'm cutting it, I just cut all three of them to even it out, so that when I pull it through that little can the recessed lights come with, it will all be even. I put it in an appropriate spot because I know these aren't 12s, these are probably 14s, so they fit in a 14 nicer. And I just strip it about a ½ an inch. You don't have to go that far in, just about a ½ an inch down. If you have one of those fancy strippers, it's just as well. It's all doing the same exact thing here, okay? I'm just using my classic old school wire stripper cutter. Hey, show some respect, okay? It's over 20 years old. It's older than these cans, all right? It's mine and it still works. Anyway. So check the cable a little bit, just to make sure everything's good. And reach for the can that it came with. Where are you? There we are. So it has 3 holes that you can pop out, top and one on each side. So I just push it in. They won't always be this easy, but this is a thin piece of metal, so it's okay. Just wiggle, 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 pop that off. And that's it. Now, unlike the guy before who did this, I'm going to put the protection in this thing. And I got the plastic one, which they were like $6 for a pack of 10 at the local box store at Lowe's. So, and all you have to do is just hold it, snap it in, and that's it. It takes a little effort, obviously, and it snaps in. And that's it. That's all there is. That's all you have to do to protect your house from potential fire. That's it. $6 for a pack of 10, and that's it. Nothing complicated. Now what I'll do is I'll fish one cable at a time through, and the pack came with these clips. Instead of using the classic screw on, these are what I've been seeing popping up now in electrical circuits. So it works. It's great because it's one way in. Once it goes in, that thing does not let go. So I fish through the positive first, which is the black, and then you take it, and I'm still not touching the raw wire, and I shove it in there just like this. Once it goes in, it doesn't come out, so I give it a tug just to make sure it gripped. Then I grab the positive cable from the actual junction box and plug it in there. Once you shove it in there, just give it a quick tug just to make sure that it doesn't come back out. And there we go, good to go. Now I'll do the same thing to the neutral wire. And again, just like before, I won't touch it. I treat it like it's live. That's just been my philosophy. Treat it like it's live and you will be fine. Again, I can't say this enough times. The breaker is off, okay? But it's just my thing. And you should probably do it too, because it's a great precaution to take. So white to white, black to black, simple as pie, and then ground to ground. Like really super simple, nothing complicated here. Because the safety thing has been taken care of with the plug. Just repeat the process that you did before with the other two. Pull the ground in, plug it into that piece, plug the green wire in, no change, tug, make sure it's good. Now it's time to fold everything and put it into the box. I guess you can call it a junction box. That's technically what it is. So I just fold it and push them in. I'm pretty sure there's an electrician that's going to watch and say, hey, if you do the Z pattern or something, I don't know that pattern. I just stuff it in there, make sure nothing's touching, and close the box, and it works. And that's it. 1 down and 5 to go. Sweet. I'll just push it up there for now. And once I get all these in, then I'll connect the lights, but not before. So now that the process is set, now let's go ahead and get rid of the rest of these. Unfortunately, it didn't take long for me to run into the very next problem. First of all, the guy who did this, I guess he kind of split the power off. So as you can clearly see, this one has 2 power cords going to it. Okay, cool, no biggie. I know one goes to the one across to the right, and I know the other one must be the power source input, no big stuff. Unfortunately, yes, big stuff. As soon as I pulled it down, I realized all 3 cables have slight cuts on them. Take a look. Macro zoomed in. Insane. The ground, the neutral, and the hot. This is literally a fire waiting to happen. And had I not decided to upgrade, I would have not seen this. This is no longer an upgrade video. This is now a safety video, preventing my house from going up in flames. OMG. I'm frustrated now. The madness doesn't end. As I got to the next one, this was 4 cables connected, one going every directions, and every last one of them was cut against that piece of metal. So I had to go to Lowe's, get a little junction box and more plugs. So this is what the box looks like when the plugs are put in. It's put in this particular pattern so that I, kind of alleviate some of the stress off the cable, so I'm not pulling them over top of each other. This way I can just run the cable in from the direction that you're coming from into that little junction box. And it's a pretty simple setup, and that junction box was like dirt cheap, like $7. It was like really cheap. And as you see me here, I'm just fishing it through just like I've done all the other boxes. Nothing changed there. The only difference with this one is because I'm putting all this cable back into one box. When I was at Lowe's, I picked up this little guy. Instead of 4, this guy holds 6, and it works just like the other ones that came with the Canless lights. You just stick the cable in, just push it all the way in, and it grabs it and it won't let go. The only difference, like I said, instead of 4, this one's 6. So sets of wires all connected. So they're all back to where they were. Now, instead of using this itty bitty junction box, yeah, see the size difference? Wait, it's even smaller than that. See the size difference? There's no way I was going to get all of these in here. So, yeah. $6, no, I think it was $7. $7 for this thing. So it's a little junction box, because the guy who did this before just kind of ran one wire there, one down here, one across and across and across. So one of these is likely the main hot wire that came in, and then the rest of this kind of split out to the different lights. Well, it worked before, surprisingly, without the anyway, it worked before, so I'm gonna put it back exactly how I found it, because I'm not a licensed electrician. So I'm just putting it back exactly where else. Difference is I'm doing it safer, putting in this little protector thingy plug. And what I've done now is I've taken this little piece, all right, about a foot or so, and I'm going to put this in here, so by itself, and then this will be in here. So that's why I needed the extra one. Where is that extra one? Ah, here it is. All right, let's fish this in here and see what I can make happen. Clear, separation, neat, organized. Yeah, cool. And now, came with a little connector. Wait, yeah, there we go. And now I just have to tighten it down. Once the cover has been secured, it's just a matter of tightening it down and pushing it back up there. And at this point, it's back to the regular scheduled program of just connecting the LED junction box back in here. And we just stuck it back up in a ceiling, no big deal. So now that all the junction boxes are connected to the power source properly with plugs and nicely organized and neat, now I can connect the actual LED lights. And it's just a matter of just plugging into that little dangling cord. Of course, I'm not going to let you watch me do this, so I'm fast forward this one for you. A quick trip down to the circuit breaker, and voila, lights are on. That is satisfying. Of course, you have to check, make sure one's illuminated. Everything looks good. I don't hear any weird sounds. You don't want to hear any humming or any buzzing. Yay, thumbs up. Thank you, Jesus. Turn them off and put these in there. Just squeeze little clips in. That's the easiest part of the day, and just push them back in there. And now we test it again. Lights on. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And so that's it from me. I had a great upgrade. I made my kitchen brighter, made the wife happier, and potentially saved myself from a major fire hazard. So yeah, I'd consider it a win-win-win. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.